the spring of 2024, a California-based cryptocurrency startup hired a new engineer. He was articulate in his interviews, his references checked out. His GitHub profile showed years of legitimate work. Within weeks, he had full access to the company's codebase, its internal systems, and its financial infrastructure. He was sending his entire salary to Pyongyang. He had never set foot in the United States. He did not exist. The cryptocurrency startup is not named in public records, but the engineer is one of thousands. The United States Department of Justice, the FBI, and 11 allied governments, including Japan, South Korea, France, Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands, have documented a coordinated state-sponsored operation in which North Korea has spent years placing fake IT workers inside Western companies, not dozens of companies, hundreds. The workers use stolen identities, fabricated credentials, and AI-generated documentation to pass through standard hiring processes undetected. They work remotely. They produce legitimate code, they receive legitimate paychecks, and they send every dollar back to fund North Korea's nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs. On July 31, 2026, those 11 governments issued a coordinated advisory. The mechanism they described had evolved significantly. North Korean operatives are now using real-time AI deepfake video during live job interviews, generating a synthetic face and voice in real time to bypass the one control most hiring teams believed would catch them, looking the candidate in the eye on a video call. It is no longer proof of anything. The U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia announcing sentencing for several facilitators in 2026 sent a direct message to corporate America. This is a code red. Your tech sectors are being infiltrated by North Korea. And for most of the companies that have been infiltrated, the discovery did not come from their own security teams. It came from law enforcement knocking on the door. The infrastructure behind the operation is documented and specific. North Korean operatives do not work from North Korea. They work from China, Russia, Southeast Asia, and Africa, routing their connections through VPNs and remote desktop software to appear as if they are sitting in U.S. home offices. In the United States, a network of facilitators, documented in every state except Hawaii, receives company-issued laptops at their homes, keeps them powered on, and allows North Korean workers to log in remotely. These are called laptop farms. The facilitators are not intelligence professionals. They are ordinary people recruited through online platforms, paid a small fee per device, and often unaware of the full scope of what they are participating in until federal agents arrive at their door. In May 2026, the Department of Justice announced that 2 U.S. nationals had been sentenced to 18 months in federal prison for receiving and hosting laptops to enable North Korean co-conspirators operating from overseas. 8 individuals have been sentenced in 2026 alone. CrowdStrike's 2026 Technology Threat Landscape Report documented that famous Chollima, the North Korean state-sponsored group responsible for this campaign, accounted for 47% of all state-sponsored hands-on keyboard intrusions against U.S. technology companies in the 12-month period ending March 2026. Not 47% of North Korean intrusions, 47% of all state-sponsored intrusions from any nation. North Korea is now the single largest state actor in direct access corporate infiltration of American companies. And the companies being infiltrated are not careless. Many of them are defense contractors, AI research firms, cryptocurrency companies, and cloud infrastructure providers. Organizations with security protocols specifically designed to prevent exactly this kind of insider access. The workers they hired were doing real work, passing real code reviews, attending real meetings, passing real performance evaluations. Some were employed for months, some for years. The alias Breeyan Cornelius, one documented identity used in the scheme, was still active and applying for jobs at a large U.S. insurance company as recently as May 2025, according to investigators tracking the operation. The same alias, the same scheme, still running, still applying. The scheme generates an estimated several $100 million per year for the North Korean regime. Every paycheck processed, every performance review passed, every company-issued laptop powered on in a suburban living room is a line item in a weapons program budget. And for each worker who is caught and removed, the regime deploys another with a different name, a different face, and a fresh set of stolen credentials. In 2025, the FBI began documenting a second phase of the operation. Workers who had been identified and terminated did not simply disappear. They threatened their former employers. They threatened to release proprietary code. They threatened to publish internal communications. They demanded payment to stay silent. The FBI's January 2025 alert on North Korean IT workers specifically warned of a documented shift from salary generation to active extortion. A fake employee who spent months inside a company's systems is not simply a financial threat. They are an insider threat with full knowledge of the company's vulnerabilities, its personnel, and its most sensitive data. The scheme is, in the words of one investigator, too big to take down. For every laptop farm the FBI raids, and for every identity it exposes, another emerges. The workers are compliant. The regime has no shortage of them. And the AI tools that generate their identities, polish their communications, and sustain their synthetic faces during live video calls are improving faster than any hiring process can adapt. North Korea created a fake job application platform in 2026 specifically targeting applicants to major U.S. artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency firms. Not to place workers inside those companies, to gain access to the computers of people applying to those companies before they were hired. The attack surface has expanded beyond the employees already inside. It now includes everyone trying to get in. The July 31st, 2026 advisory from 11 governments names the mechanism. It recommends stronger identity verification. It recommends suspicious account detection. It recommends continuous workforce authentication rather than a single pre-employment check. What it cannot recommend is a way to verify that the face on a screen belongs to the person who submitted the resume, because the face on the screen may have been generated in real time by a system running in Liaoning province, connected to a laptop farm in suburban Phoenix, paying a salary to a regime building nuclear weapons with the proceeds. The California startup that hired the engineer from Pyongyang eventually discovered what had happened. By then, the engineer had been paid tens of thousands of dollars. By then, he had full access to everything. The company asked investigators what they should do. The investigators told them to check whether the engineer was still inside their systems. He was. The scheme has been running for years and shows no sign of stopping, which raises the question every organization hiring remote workers now has to sit with. The employees were AI-assisted identities backed by real operatives running a state-sponsored intelligence operation. Nobody noticed. What does your hiring process do when the candidate passes every check and is still not real? And as always, this is Ghost in the BIOS. And until next time, stay human.